Today on an all-new Dr. Phil. Quiet quitting has become a movement.
I am not going to kill myself over a job that doesn't care about me.
Quiet quitting is just doing the job you were hired to do within the schedule you've been given to do it.
How do you get ahead if you're a quiet quitter?
This is a nice way to say you're lazy, and you're spreading this notion to people that that's causing a lot of issues, but you're promoting not working hard.
I think quiet quitting is bull. You think this makes common sense?
Absolutely. Every bit of effort invested by an employee is an investment in something they're hoping to get from a job. Sometimes it's a paycheck, sometimes it's a promotion. If you're asking them to put in extra, there has to be a reason to do extra.
Well, where do you draw the line of what's extra and what's not?
We look at the job description. Quiet quitting is just doing the job you were hired to do within the schedule you've been given to do it.
How do you get ahead if you're a quiet quitter?
Well, you can get ahead as a quiet quitter. One of the logical fallacies we make is we assume that if you're not putting in extra hours all the time and going the extra mile, you're never going to get promoted. There's such a thing as becoming too valuable to promote. If you're producing too much value in the position you are in, the employer has no incentive to move you up. They're going to keep you right there where you're producing good profits for them. What they're going to do is they're going to give that promotion to an outside hire or the boss's kid.
Really? So you said you really resent stereotyping this younger generation, these quiet quitters, as all being lazy.
I do, and I don't think it's a generational thing. Whether you've been working your whole life for 30, 40 years in a company, or if you're brand new to the workforce, quiet quitting is really for everyone. It's about setting healthy boundaries and being attentive to what gives us a return in our life and what makes life worth living.
What do you think about this?
They're lazy. They are. And again, this is a nice way to say you're lazy. Oh, quiet quitting. I think I saw the thing, slackers and so forth. This does not work for our country. And what worries me is that in America, the United States, we are becoming very lazy, very soft. This is not good for our country. I mean, there's like 9.8 billion people in the world. We're 330 million here. There's a lot of countries around the world that hate the United States. And if we're not producing, if we're not working hard, we're going to be, well, and actually by 2050, China says we're the world power. Now, if we're going to be lazy here and not work hard and produce as a country and work together as a team, you better learn Chinese, because in 30-some years, you're going to be speaking Chinese, I believe.
I think Mandarin is the national language there.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Santana Maynard.
Go ahead.
I think it's hard to say that things are so black and white. I think, yes, there are people that are lazy, but this is such a phenomenon now that I think we should look into it. I was a former teacher, and I feel like I silent quit to pursue my passion right now, which is voiceover. But it's during that time I was a teacher, there was poor leadership, it was low pay, and the kids were great. The kids were awesome, but everyone was stressed out. And it's more about quality over quantity.
Hunter, you say she's describing the hustle culture, and you say this is a protest against the hustle culture.
In my opinion, I believe quiet quitting is a protest for workers' rights. If I work at a job and my job description is 9 to 5 and I'm supposed to do A, B, and C, and at 5 o'clock I'd like to go home to my friends and family and focus on other parts of my life that are frankly more important than work, and my employer says, hey, we actually need you to do X, Y, Z for no extra pay, I'm going to resist that, because I don't find that work is the most important thing in my life, nor do I think it should be the most important in anybody's lives. I think down the road, you can have all the money in the world, but if 50 years from now you didn't spend that time with your friends or family or yourself, I don't feel that that's a very beneficial, it's not a very fulfilling life. And so I think our generation is tired of working to live.
I also think it's unfair to just assume that they're lazy if they're not working in the office. It's not about being lazy. I think it's about where you apply, where you work hard. For me, I did my job, I got my job done every day, and then I applied my hard work to what I did outside of work because it was what I was passionate about.
I worry about the social media, and I mean, you kind of see the videos and you're getting all these views and likes about it, but you're not really having, I think, a real conversation. You're expressing this idea of quiet quitting that then is spreading across people that are thinking, well, hey, my employer is a bad person. All employers are bad people. All they care about is profit. That's not true. There's so many great employers out there that do care about their employees, and that's not being portrayed. And you're, I think, spreading this notion to people that that's causing a lot of issues. I mean, you look at productivity right now in our country, that has fallen. We've had the worst decline since the late 1940s.
Why do you say quiet quitters are just not dependable employees?
I've spent over 30 years building my career. I haven't slept in 30 years, and I'm proud of it because it's the daily pursuit of my passion and potential that I can do every day that gives me that reward. And if I've got someone working with me or for me, and they're not passionate about what they're doing, then if you become passionate about it and you say, I want to give my best today, you don't know what opportunities are going to open up. And I've raised kids. I've got 4 adult kids, 2 stepkids, all grown. And I've spent my entire time teaching them work ethic and being responsible for themselves and saying, am I giving my best today? Because opportunities will find you if you're putting your best out there. And I'd love to see what conversations are going to happen 10, 20 years from now from some of those that are choosing quiet quitting. So, well, where did that get you and where are you today?
Well, let's take these two for a second. You got your hand up, I'll come right to you in just a second. These two right here, Hunter and Ryan, I've read everything you guys have had to say. I've looked at things about you, your interviews, tapes and all. These are 2 really smart young men, but it seems to me you haven't found a passion. And I think, just let me give you a little Dr. Phil advice. If you go through life without finding a passion, then you're just like going through the motions, and everything is work. It is uphill. But if you find your passion, then not every day's fun, but then it doesn't feel like work. Because let me tell you, everybody, I don't care, you, I don't care if you work for the post office, everybody's in business for themselves. You're all a company of one, you're in business for yourself, you're working to make your company of one, and then maybe it becomes 2, 10, 20, 100. You're all doing this for yourself so you can create whatever life you want, whether it's to be surfing or running a company or whatever. But you got to have that passion. Do you have a passion?
Well, absolutely, but I think we
What
put
is
a
it?
lot of pressure on young individuals to find this passion at a young age, or we're expecting middle schoolers to know what they want to major in college. I think to put so much pressure on young individuals and the youth in America, I think also ties into the lack of work ethic, because we're putting an immense amount of pressure that, oh, you're 14, you should know what you want to major in, you're 18, you should know what you want to do for the rest of your life. I think your 20s are for messing up. I think your 20s are supposed to be where you work 12 jobs and you fail at 10 of them because you're learning. And I think, too, the idea that just because you guys built businesses, quiet quitting's not saying you didn't work hard for that. I fully believe that every single one of us in this room has worked hard for what we have. And I think it's ignorant to say that just because I did something, everybody else can. There's so many other factors at play. And so just to say that I have a business and I've run it for 30 years, everybody can, and the people that don't are lazy,
That may not
I
be
think
for
isn't
you.
fair.
You have your own law firm.
Absolutely.
Everybody in your class get their own law firm?
No, they do not.
Why did you get yours?
I had an opportunity. I think something
You
that
took
we
it,
missed.
right?
Yeah, we missed
Was it
something
easy or
here.
hard?
It was extremely hard.
But you did it.
I did do it.
Why?
I want to point out that pursuing your passion is a privilege. We have to check ourselves for a minute and not assume that everyone has the same opportunity. Some people are working a minimum wage job that one person might say is a dead end and they're not applying themselves, but they fail to realize this person is trying to make rent every month. They're trying to fill up their tank with gas. And then when they get home, they're just exhausted. I am so fortunate that I had a supportive community that helped me build my law firm. I am not self-made. Most people aren't.
I had jobs that were not pleasant. And every one of those jobs that I went in and said, I'm going to give my best today. And I'm going to find something I love in this. It might be a coworker I love, even though I don't agree with the corporate model of what it was. Every one of those opportunities came from it that brought me out elsewhere to something I was even more passionate about, because I did the right thing every day. And
Again,
I gave my
not
best.
everybody can do that, though.
You
Just
can give your
because-
best every day.
I would strongly disagree. Just because that's been your lived experience does not mean there's so many other factors. There's race, there's gender, there's age, there's so many, there's physical ability. The same person that is in your job that is in a wheelchair might not have the same opportunity that you did. So yes, I'm not saying you didn't work hard. And I'm saying we can't just say because I did it, you can too. That's completely an ignorant
But you can
take.
do something to be the most that you want to be. And maybe what you want to do is go watch the grass grow. And if that's it, I have no problem with that. I don't step on anybody's dreams, but you got to be honest with yourself about what you're doing. And I think quiet quitting is bull. I do. I think you're just lying to yourself about that. And I think you're telling them what they want to hear for God knows why. Because if they look, everybody's planning what the future's going to be and what they're going to make the future. The future's going to determine what you do. You're not going to determine the future. The future's going to determine you. What do you want to say back there?
I just started working at a grocery store. All night, my job is to come in, bring a bunch of boxes that the vendors brought in, bring it to the back, organize it, and fix everything on the shelves, make it look pretty. That's my every night. I'm an actor. How do I find the passion when the reason I get up is to not watch the grass grow, but to act?
Hunter, that wasn't possible 50 years ago either.
Maybe 50 years ago, you couldn't flip burgers and buy a house, right? The point is, back in your guys' is your day, you could purchase a house and have hope and opportunity down the road.
We sacrificed, and that's what you want. You want to have the new car, you want to be able to go to concerts, all this other stuff, and not sacrifice for that house. When I got a house,
I don't think that's what they said, though.
When you say we don't have the same opportunity, it was the same back then. You had to sacrifice, but a lot of you younger people don't
I
have to
think our
sacrifice
priorities
now.
are different.
You want to say something?
We're stuck in this capitalistic system where it's always going to be profit over people. I generally don't think that any job is worth your mental sanity or your mental health.
Mental health is so important.
Exactly.
There needs to be a balance.
There are some people that are born into privilege and don't really even have to work. So this whole idea of just hard work doesn't add up.
You say it's just a capitalist society. If you don't believe in that, don't do it. You got to decide what your definition of success is. And it's different for everybody. For them, maybe it's creating a company and building generational wealth. If that's their definition of success, then know what it is and pursue it with passion. If yours is different, at least know what your definition of success is. Know what it is, so you're taking defined action towards a known outcome. Know what it is. And I think the key to success in this world is having knowledge that is consequential to the world. And if you can be replaced in 2 hours, you don't have consequential knowledge. Develop a skill set that is consequential and market it however you want. My philosophy all my life has been to market my education in a non-traditional way. That's been my philosophy, and I've done that the whole time. And it's worked well for me. I didn't want to be a face in the crowd. That was my philosophy. The producer for this show, Justin Arlock, he's been here 20 years, promoted 7 times. He was an audience coordinator. He was, get people in the audience and help them through the door and all that sort of thing. Been promoted 7 times and is a top-notch talent. He didn't get there by saying no. It's also his passion. But you got to know what your definition of success is. If you don't know, you're like an unguided missile, right? How do you know whether to take this step or not? Because you don't know where you're headed. Know what your definition of success is. Know what your currency is. And if your currency is accomplishment, great. If your currency is being serene, great. Whatever it is. Know your currency and know your definition of success. Quiet quitting has become a movement.
I am not going to kill myself over a job that doesn't care about me.
Quiet quitting is just doing the job you were hired to do within the schedule you've been given to do it.
They're lazy.
I think quiet quitting is bull. All new Dr. Phil.
Check your local listings.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.